Now you have a general feel for datasets, variable types, and codebooks. The next step is to select one of the datasets: Add Health, Mars Craters, NESARC, Gapminder, or another one that you've chosen out of the datasets that have been made available to you for the course. Select a dataset that includes variables in an area that interests you.
Once you have selected a dataset, identify a specific topic of interest and print those pages of the codebook that include the variable or variables that measure your selected topic. Note that many codebooks, including those of NESARC and Add Health, are too large to print. So it is very important to create your own personal codebook with only those pages that include the variables that you would like to examine.
Our example comes from the NESARC dataset, and our chosen topic is nicotine dependence. There are several variables related to nicotine dependence, and we can see two here: lifetime nicotine dependence and nicotine dependence in the past 12 months. A value of 0 for each of these variables indicates no nicotine dependence, and a value of 1 indicates the presence of nicotine dependence. The name of these variables are tab12mdx and tablifedx. We'll use these variable names when we begin to work with the data.
We're not suggesting that this topic is more or less interesting or more or less important than any other. What's important is that you pick a topic that is of interest to you. We've chosen to look at nicotine dependence.
Once you have a topic and have printed the codebook pages that measure that topic, it's time to build a research question. One of the simplest research questions that can be asked is whether two topics are associated with one another. For example, is medical treatment seeking associated with income? Is crater depth associated with crater diameter? Is water fluorination associated with number of cavities during dentist visits? These data sets are vast, so there are many potential associations to explore. Let's look at our chosen example, nicotine dependence.
First, I need to determine what it is about nicotine dependence that interests me. It strikes me that friends and acquaintances that I've known throughout the years that became hooked on cigarettes did so across very different periods of time. Some seem to be dependent on smoking heavily soon after their first experience with a cigarette, and others after many years of generally irregular smoking behavior.
We decide that we are most interested in exploring the association between smoking behavior and nicotine dependence. We believe that they are positively associated. That is to say, the more an individual smokes, the more likely they are to be nicotine dependent. We're also wondering how much a person needs to smoke in order to be nicotine dependent.
We continue to read through the NESARC codebook and find that smoking behavior has also been measured in this sample. So next, I take a step similar to one that I just took when choosing nicotine dependence. That is, I identify the variables that measure this second topic, smoking behavior, in my data set. The variables I choose include cigarette smoking status, usual frequency, and usual quantity.
During your second review of the codebook for the dataset that you have selected, you should also identify a second topic that you'd like to explore in terms of its association with your original topic. And again, print those pages of the codebook that include the variable or variables that measure this second selected topic.
The research question finding was kind of hard for me, but I found it, and it was a lot of trial and error and a lot of searching for all these different code books.
I chose to do a project to look at the association between adolescent self-esteem and the level of parental involvement, and to see if there is a correlation there.
So for my project, I looked specifically at intermediate craters, layered ejecta morphology, which is basically like if you were to stomp on a pedal or like step on a pedal, like you would create a splash that would just like come out like this. And then so that is what we call like an ejecta.
So the question that I got invested in was the relationship between parenting or parental styles and further adult relationships.
I looked at binge drinking young adults and treatment-seeking patterns based on arrests.
Some questions almost have never been really asked, at least not in a statistical manner.
We're encouraged to do original research, so actually we're not even supposed to do what other people have done. We're supposed to look at information that we're interested in, find out, where research has stopped, and ask the next question.